So, what a fine Sunday it's turning out to be. If you're a cricket fan, the Indian men's team is doing rather well versus Sri Lanka. They've imposed the follow on, but that's not what we're here for on sports today because we are here talking about the Women's World Cup. India's first game at the Women's World Cup was against arch rivals Pakistan, and India has won that particular encounter by a margin of 107 runs. So, it's a great start for the Indian women's team. Firstly, they've started this tournament on a winning note, and secondly, the fact that they have beaten their arch rivals Pakistan. What this particular victory, also see the margin of victory, it's 107 run victory is massive. Prad, hello to you as well. Prad joins us from Noida, not too far away from us. I'm guessing he's watching us. That's where we are also coming to you live from. But Malay, absolutely. Congratulations to the women's team. I say it's. So let me give you a couple of stats that are very relevant for this particular victory. Firstly, the tally now stands at 4-0. So 4 times India has played Pakistan in the Women's World Cup, and now that tally stands at 4-0. So 100% record in the 50 over World Cup that the Indian women have versus Pakistan, much like the men's team, which has also not lost to Pakistan in a 50 over World Cup. So that perfect record is maintained by the women's team. And if you take a look at the overall record between India and Pakistan in the 50 over format, that record also stands in India's favor. It's a clean 100% record, 11-0 in favor of India. So great. Why am I saying it's a great start for the Indian team? Many reasons for it, and let me just sum up those reasons for you. The first reason is that India did not come into this Women's World Cup in great form. If you followed that series that they played versus, recently versus New Zealand, they lost that 5-match series 4-1. So that means they were not in great form. In fact, if you take a look at Indian women's record in 50 over cricket from the last World Cup that happened in 2017, the World Cup that India played a final in, beat Australia in the semi-final, lost to England in the final in a very close encounter. From that World Cup till this World Cup that is happening in 2022, India have played 40 ODIs, the Indian women's team, and out of that they have won 19 and lost 21. So what does that tell you? Less than 50% success rate. So that was not great for the women's team coming into this tournament. But now that they've won, I think it's always important to strike form at the right moment, and it's clearly that the Indian women's team has done that. And in this particular encounter, India were 116 for 6 at one point. When they lost Richa Ghosh's wicket, they were 6 down. And from there on, I frankly thought that maybe even 200 would be tough. And maybe 150 is what Pakistan could have got India out. Had it been at 150, then clearly Pakistan would have been favourite and may have won this game, their first game against India. But all credit to Pooja Vastrakar and Sneh, Rana, that 100 plus run partnership that they had took India to 244. That seemed to be a very, very tough total for any team to chase. 244 is going to be very tough for any team, let alone Pakistan, which have not won, remember, a single game in a Women's World Cup for the last 2 editions. The last 2 editions, they've come up completely blank. So it was going to be a tough task. Also, I was taking a look at their record in chases in the World Cup. 14 times Pakistan have been asked to chase in a World Cup encounter and had won only one. So that in itself was going to be a tough task for any team, and we knew Pakistan's record wasn't great. So which is why India went in almost certain to win when they posted 244. But then you can't take away the credit from the bowler. Rajeshwari Gayakwad, absolutely stunning. What is so heartening to see in the women's format, and I'm going to talk about Rajeshwari Gayakwad in that left arm spinner, you still have that drift, that loop, very traditional left arm orthodox bowlers that used to see in men's cricket. Now you don't see many of those bowlers because they now bowl much quicker with a flatter trajectory. But it was heartening to see Rajeshwari Gayakwad bowl in the very old-fashioned flighted deliveries, and she proved to be the most successful bowler, picking up 4 wickets. I wish it could have been a 5-wicket haul, but there was still a 5-wicket haul, not for a bowler, but the wicketkeeper in Richa Ghosh. I think she's created a record of picking up 5 wickets for any wicket keeper on debut. So she got 5 wickets, 4 I think were caught, and 1 stumping that Richa Ghosh got as a wicket keeper. So she had a very good game. Not a great game with the bat when she got out just after Harmanpreet Kaur, and that is where 116 for 6 India were in a precarious position. But with the gloves, Richa had an outstanding game. Rajeshwari, as I mentioned, 4 wickets for her. Totally, the middle order of Pakistan, which could have, taken the game away from India, were totally helpless in front of Rajeshwari Gayakwad. Jhulan Goswami, don't forget, she got you those early breakthroughs. Very close to equaling the record for most wickets ever in a World Cup. She's 1 wicket behind. She picked up 2 in this game. Had she picked up 1 more, then she would have equaled that record with the Australian bowler for the most wickets in World Cup. But I mean, plenty of games there for Jhulan Goswami to go there. I saw a comment that Harman and Mithali disappointed. Yes, not great day for the two of them, but they are crucial players, so they will come good. Smriti Mandhana is the other crucial player for the Indian team, and she had a decent outing with a half century today. So yes, I'm expecting, but it doesn't matter. You see, you have to have a few very important players. Some days some will work, some days the other don't. And so if Mithali and Harman didn't get you runs, that is what gave chance to someone like Pooja Vastrakar and Sneh Rana to show their class with batting. 100 plus run stand. Pooja Vastrakar, for a lot of people who don't know, she's called like a mini Hardik Pandya in the women's team. When she made a debut, or she came into the team at the age of 18, they named her that for 2 reasons. One, because she's a seam bowling all-rounder, much like Hardik Pandya. Secondly, she's also lean and thin like Hardik Pandya, and packs a punch when it comes to hitting those big shots as she did today. So a lot of comparisons are drawn between the two of them, and she came very, very good. So a good outing for the Indian women's team. They've started on a great note. One, because they've started with a win, and it became more sweet because it came against arch rivals in Pakistan. So that 100% record is going to be maintained. Who's going to be the woman of the match? Ayush asked me. It's going to be close. I don't know, Rajeshwari Gayakwad, but I think Sneh Rana should get it simply because she got a half century with the bat and also picked up 3 wickets, I think, with the ball. So with that in mind, I think Sneh Rana is going to be your contender, the number 1 contender to be made the woman of the match. What's happened to Shefali Verma? I agree, Mumbai Road. She's not been in great form recently. Maybe she will come good, but we know that she's a impact player. So maybe have patience, and it's good. See, all good teams work with this sort of a premise that when a few players are out of form, the others step up. That's what makes a team outstanding and the world beater. It happens with all the great teams of the past as well. And if Indian team is doing it, then that's a great sign that somebody or the other steps up sometime and ensures that India wins. So a lot of people are asking me questions about journalists versus Saha. No, I've already done a separate video on it, and it's going to be up very shortly on Sports Today, so you can check that out. I'm not going to do another video. I've taken a few questions early, so that video will be up, and then you can see that. I think Prad is saying the series was important and now they are favourite. Hope they can win the World Cup for Mithali and Jhulan. They are legends in women cricket. I completely agree with you, Prad. Maybe that series versus New Zealand was very important. Help them get acclimatized to the conditions, and maybe it takes time to get into the groove in different conditions. Maybe they did, and that's why they won that one-off ODI also after losing 4 and then winning that final ODI. So 4-1 was the scorecard. So maybe it came at the right time, and it's always good to catch the momentum at the right time. So maybe the Indian team has got that, as they showed in the game versus Pakistan. Mithali Raj was over defensive today, Ayush. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, she played an attacking stroke and got out. But if you're talking about the fielding, I don't think so. At that time, Pakistan had lost 9 wickets, and they were... In fact, Pakistan was overly defensive. I think they lost... You're chasing 244, which is very competitive in women's cricket. But their batters, to begin with, I think had, 6 runs in 6 overs. They did not make use of the power play. So I think that's where Pakistan also lost it, and they need to look at that. I understand that you're trying to save wickets, but that strategy clearly did not play out in their favour. Vivek is saying, I think India's batting is going to be most crucial going forward. If India can make or chase 250 around, bowlers are going to contain or defend opposition. I agree. I think the bowling has been doing a good job. Pooja didn't even come into bowl today. They were a bit thin in fast bowling, and because Jhulan didn't come in with great form, there were a few issues there. But I think now with Jhulan bowling as well as she did now, I think that fast bowling worry is sorted. In spinning department, you've got Sneh Rana, you've got Dipti Sharma, you've got Rajeshwari Gayakwad. So all of them are pretty good. So I think spin bowling is not an issue for India, and bowling is there. I think batting needs to step up, but good. It's a different batsman. Smriti Mandhana has been in great form, so that's good. Pooja showed good form today. Sneh Rana showed good form. Richa Ghosh is a decent batsman. Mithali has been very consistent with her runs. Just today was a blip, one of those rare days. Harmanpreet Kaur, extended period of bad form, but then the last game we saw in that series against New Zealand, in the second last game, I think it was, or the last, I can't remember, but had a good outing. She's saying she's working with a mental coach as well. So yeah, if all of them come good, then the batting also looks very good for India. Right. Sneh Rana is a good all-rounder. Cricket star saying, absolutely, she is. So she is. Yastika Bhatia also, yes, she is a good player. Sahil is saying should play instead of... but, you have to have some sort of patience with the others as well. Okay, on that note, we'll wind up. Great victory for the Indian team. I hope you enjoyed that encounter. But there's another game going on. That's the test match. We have our eyes on that as well. Remember, Ravichandran Ashwin is just 1 wicket away from going ahead of... is he 1 wicket away from tying or going ahead of... Going ahead. He's already tied, with Kapil Dev. So 1 wicket away from going ahead of Kapil Dev. He'll become the second highest wicket taker. Right now he's tied second highest wicket taker, but will become the second highest wicket taker right about after Anil Kumble. So that's going to be a momentous moment as well. We'll talk about that. I'll try and make a separate video on that. On that note, I'll take your leave. I hope you enjoyed the women's game. We'll keep tracking that as well. And the test match. Who knows? We might get a result on that. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye.